Welcome to the show that looks at truth, fiction, and reality with a smirk. I'm Aaron Peterson.
I'm Amanda Sink.
And I'm Zach Parkerson.
And welcome to SMIRK. Every other week, one of our hosts introduces an original story, which we then use as a springboard for a spirited and lighthearted discussion on whatever the moral or theme is. Welcome back. This is season 4 of SMIRK, and it's my turn for a story.
What makes sense? You're the best storyteller.
I don't know about that. I appreciate the sentiment.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, wow.
I'm just kidding.
Who is the best?
Well, it's a tie between you and Zach. You and Zach both have your own unique writing styles, but you're both excellent writers.
Well, at least we all agree it's not you.
We do. I know it. I can accept it.
I'm just playing, audience.
You're all good in your own way. That's what I say.
That's a pity remark. That's what you say to somebody who's like getting the participation trophy. Like, thanks for being here. You did okay.
When you already know you're the winner. When you know you're Tom Brady. When you live that life. When you just go through life and just win, win, win. That's just how you say things, you know?
I would say you could tell Aaron is a father because he's obviously practiced. I can't pick a favorite.
Exactly. Yeah.
Even though we all know every parent has their favorites.
That's not true. That's silly.
Definitely true.
That's silly.
Well, I'm a dog parent, and I definitely have a favorite.
Well, maybe you're a bad dog parent.
I'm just saying, the truth is there.
So if I have a dog and I have a favorite, but it's not that dog, and I only have one dog, what does that make me?
That means you're a cat person.
I am definitely not a cat person.
Maybe you're a reptile guy.
Maybe I just haven't found what I'm looking for. That's what it's all about.
You need a pet spider.
Ew.
You like spiders?
No, nobody does.
Oh, I say you need a pet spider. That's your ideal pet.
I don't like the hair on the legs, man.
Can we not talk? I'm taking these headphones off.
It's kind of like, you know, I'm married when I don't like hair on her legs either. This makes you very uncomfortable. Well, let's talk about a birthday, huh?
Oh, boy.
Who's getting old? Zach is.
Yeah, happy birthday to our own Zach. He's having a monumental birthday this week, so
right, yeah,
happy birthday.
A massive milestone.
What is it? 21.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, I'm gonna do the thing people used to. I'm 29 forever.
So, what does 30 feel like? I haven't been there in a minute.
Sad, I guess. Mostly sad. So not
existential crisis.
Not dissimilar from 29 or 28.
Aww.
Or really any of them.
I feel like we should just talk. Skip the whole podcast and just make you feel better because it's your birthday. Happy birthday.
Thanks.
Happy birthday
to you.
Wow,
happy birthday to you.
And Ed Sheeran.
Is it his birthday too?
Michael Jordan, right?
Correct. Or most exciting to me, Lou Diamond Phillips.
Oh.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Absolute legend.
Your birthday has suddenly become much less important.
I just referenced Ed Sheeran because we are the exact same age.
Oh.
And just as successful.
I would say, yeah, I was just going to say, you guys are on the same life trajectory.
All you need that doesn't ever enter my mind.
Write some really sad songs and then just sing them pretty low key.
He's got some less sad songs.
Sure he doesn't.
He just makes millions off
He was great in that movie Yesterday.
Oh, that's right. He wasn't Yesterday. Yeah. He was great in Game of Thrones for 4 seconds.
Uh-huh.
When he distracted everybody.
But Lou Diamond Phillips.
Isn't that cool? That guy's been around forever.
I love it. Yeah, Bats. What a great movie.
Way cooler than you, Zach. No offense.
Bats was a great movie.
I like Bats. I love Lou Diamond Phillips, man. He's one of those guys where he's very fans friendly. So he'll almost always like your tweets or something if you tag him and stuff. So if you're a Lou Diamond Phillips fan, be sure to tag him, wish him a happy birthday as well. And he just always seems genuinely appreciative of fandom.
If you could do me a big favor, say happy birthday to @GoCastZach and Lou Diamond Phillips, like in the same tweet, that would be awesome. If he gets like 3 or 4 of those, he's going to think it's really weird, right?
Yeah. I mentioned that you heard about his birthday from the SMIRK podcast.
Exactly. That's how you can share a show with your friend Lou Diamond Phillips.
Perfect.
Why do people, Lou Diamond Phillips is like, why do people keep lumping me in with this low tier podcaster? What's going on?
But then he listens and he realizes we have a deep appreciation for Mr. Lou
For
Diamond
the
Phillips
LDP.
and his wonderful LDP, his wonderful career.
He's one of those you get excited every time he shows up in something.
I really do.
Yeah.
Every time.
I was getting pumped for Prodigal Son because I like Michael Sheen. And then I saw Lou Diamond Phillips is in the cast. And I just got like, well, now I'm watching it.
And
Like,
he's
before I was thinking about it.
magnificent.
He really is.
He's so delightful. I love him.
He puts the heart in everything he does.
Absolutely. Aaron, is your story about Lou Diamond Phillips?
I might rephrase it. Yeah, I might rewrite it a little bit.
About a true American hero.
Absolutely he is.
Absolutely.
American treasure.
Young Guns 1 and 2. Two of my favorite films. Still one of the best movie soundtracks of all time. John Bon Jovi.
I love how you're talking as if he is actually listening. Like, I just want to tell you how much of a fan I am. You know, these two movies are really my favorite, and I've looked up to you for my whole life, and then I see you still in stuff now, and I just hope you're listening.
Please come on The Hollywood Outsider and do an interview with me, Aaron at thehollywoodoutsiders.com.
This is supposed to be about Zach's birthday.
Yeah, we get it. It's your birthday.
Why doesn't he come tell a story on SMIRK podcast?
I actually was going to write a birthday story, but I thought instead I would just wish him a happy birthday.
Well, that seems like you downgraded in celebration.
How mad would you be if he reached out to the Hollywood Outsider just so he could get the Gaming Outsider's contact information?
No,
that would be hilarious.
Just so he could tell you happy birthday?
Pretty funny. What if it turns out he's just a huge gamer?
That'd be awesome. I don't think he is, though.
I would be
he
fascinated by that.
You want to hear my story? I got a story. You want to hear it? It's about entertainment and what's going on in entertainment.
Oh, that's right. We're doing a podcast about stories, not Lou Diamond Phillips.
Tried to segue to your story when I asked if it was about Lou Diamond Phillips.
Well, sadly, I just wanted to talk about Lou Diamond Phillips at that point. Or
joke was on me.
I've been watching a lot of Long Mile lately. And then Prodigal Son. I'm like, he's everywhere I look. Everywhere I look. Everywhere. All right. Well, you know what? If you like SMIRK, every app has a share feature. So please do us a favor. Share this episode on your social media outlets. Be sure to tag Zach, GoCast Zach, and Lou Diamond Phillips. Be sure to tag those two guys and then share it.
Have we confirmed he has a Twitter? Because otherwise this is going to be really awkward. Like,
no, he
15
does.
minutes.
I wasn't kidding. He seriously responds and likes people's tweets when they're talking to him. He's actually very fan interactive. I swear.
Right. I trust
It's happened to me a couple times. See, the first time he liked him, Lou Diamond Phillips liked my tweet.
Lou D. Phillips.
I said Phillips. LDP, and then I just went, psst. I mean, I've talked to Kiefer.
No, I'm talking about his at is Lou D. Phillips. So people know to tag that handle. I was just trying to give them some additional information, man.
If you guys don't know who Lou Diamond Phillips is, of course we'll all remember him as the dad in the failed Aquaman pilot.
Oh, I didn't know that. Was he really?
Yeah.
That's a missed opportunity. So much better than Dolph Lundgren.
He has a novel coming up. He's a writer. Why is he not coming on this podcast?
Now it's just a Lou Diamond Phillips show.
No, I'm serious, really guys. He's got a novel coming out.
LDP, come on and write a little short story for SMIRK. Oh, that's funny. You know what? Let's get into my story. Hang on. It's time for a story. Today was the day. Jack had been a fan of Steve McShane since childhood. McShane was just one of those rare combinations of talent, charisma, and genuine quirkiness. Oftentimes throughout the years, Jack found himself dreaming of what it would be like to sit down and have a conversation with Steve McShane, and today it was happening. Years of working, writing, planning, everything had been building to this moment. Sure, Jack had plenty of other accomplishments, and numerous other actors he loved a bit more, but this one was a reality coming to pass. It was definitely a pinnacle of his career as a journalist, meeting and interviewing one of his childhood heroes. As an independent outlet, he would be provided remote access to McShane to ask the actor anything he wanted about his new television series, career, or virtually anything he wanted. Jack nervously set up his studio, picked up the phone, and dialed the number. First was the obligatory publicity rep who connected the call. Next was the attendant who let him know that Steve McShane would be on the line soon. Finally, he heard the voice. Jack, this is Steve McShane. How the hell are you son bitch? Jack almost felt himself tinkle a little. He was so excited, but he forced himself to relax and remain a professional. Hi, Steve. I'm great. Excited to finally talk to you. I've been a fan of yours for years. Jack knew he sounded a bit too gleeful, but he just had to get that one out there. Cool, man. Glad you dig my stuff. So what the hell are we talking about? Steve sounded as though he was almost confused as to what the call was actually about. Your new show. Let's talk about you coming back to television after being gone for so long. Zippity-dippity-doo! Jack immediately thought Steve was playing a joke on him, but one where only Steve knew the punchline. Excuse me, did you hear my question, Steve? Jack asked very politely. Get the hell away from me, buddy. Do I look like I want to go on a date? Then back up. Steve was obviously in a public place of sorts. Everything okay, Steve? Jack again spoke softly and respectfully. Steve? Who the hell is this? I don't even know you, man. Don't call me Steve. Act like a professional, not my damn mother. Jack has been around his share of alcoholics in his life, so it became painfully obvious that Steve was drunk off his rocker. Mr. McShane, are you going to be okay for this interview? Again, polite. What interview? Who the hell is this guy asking me if I'm gay? You have a lot of nerve, jackass. Steve was now talking to either himself or someone else with him, but definitely not to Jack. Or at least he wasn't actually understanding what Jack was saying. No, I asked if you were okay, sir. No, are you? What the hell kind of questions are these? Are you even sure you're a writer, man? What the hell? Who am I even talking to? I can't believe I'm wasting my time talking to some pissant rag that no one is ever even going to read. Who reads shit magazines anymore, anyway? McShane was becoming less and less lucid. If he was not blackout drunk by this point, it would be a complete surprise. Suddenly, the attendant came back on. Jack, we're going to have to reschedule this call. Mr. McShane is working in England right now, and he obviously is very exhausted from the time change. We'll get back to you with his availability. Of course, we fully expect you will keep his exhaustion out of any media coverage. Thank you. Goodbye. Click. That was it. Jack's meeting with a childhood hero became nothing more than a drunken prank phone call. Weeks of planning, preparation, and a lifetime of excitement, all for nothing. It was at this moment that Jack had to stop and take stock of a very important question. Did I just waste years of my life being a fan of this man?
Well, sounds like not.
I'm not gonna lie to you,
Phillips.
I'm crying because I emotionally connect with this.
Aw, did that happen to you?
Obviously not in the same capacity, but
Oh, wow.
Oh, she's really crying.
man, Joss Whedon broke my heart.
Well, we'll get there. What do you think the moral or theme of this is?
Never meet your heroes.
You either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Both pretty accurate. Actually, Amanda, that's the title of my story. So, yeah, that works. Never meet your heroes. But I like the Batman quote a little bit better because it's a little bit more accurate.
Yeah.
Sadly. Very sadly. All right, so my first question, this has to do with the story. Okay, and then we'll go into the actual discussion. Do you think McShane should be judged based on that one incident?
On one incident, no. Of course not. You can't sum up anybody in one incident. I mean, obviously it's probably part of a pattern. Yeah, so I wouldn't, no, not any one incident should be enough to evaluate a human being.
Yes and no. I mean, first impressions are everything. Are they not? I mean, I understand that's ideally not how we want the world and people to work, but it's human nature for people to interact with someone on a personal basis, and whatever you take away from that is how you're going to feel about that person for a very long time, if not forever, until they do something to change your mind otherwise. While ideally I would love to say that we live in a world where you can just take one experience and toss it aside and look past it and not judge someone on that one interaction. That's just not how people work. And so realistically, yes. Yeah. I mean, people are going to, whether that's right or wrong is, I don't know if that's your question, but that's just how people work.
See, I would say my personal opinion of the story is that it might not be fair, but that was a professional call and he had time to prepare and he knew ahead of time. So that's really on him. So I think you can judge somebody on that. Now, if it's you called him out of the blue, wasn't
Right.
aware of it, didn't have his rep prepping him for it and everything else, then I'm like, okay, well, that's absolutely, you know, you don't know. He might have been out celebrating something. But when you have a planned call like that, I would think so.
Also, what a crappy rep to not stop that sooner. I mean, they waited quite a bit before they're like, no, let's not do this and keep it under wraps.
Right.
They should have been first interaction. I mean, you have to know your clients very well. And first interaction, you'd have to be like, ooh, this dude's not feeling all right today. So,
hey, how about we don't insult my story's attendants, the reps, all right? Because you don't know their backstory. I haven't written that yet.
So what you're telling me is you're confirming that this is a fictional story?
I'm not confirming anything until the end of this episode.
Uh-huh.
So for the past couple of years, many of us have had people we're fans of fall off the planet of goodwill. Harvey Weinstein, Kevin Spacey, Joss Whedon, Gina Carano. You know, in terms of a lot of people are fans of people that are now in hot water or trouble of some sort. So how does it hit you when you find out one of your idols is not the person you thought they were? Because we all build them up in our minds, right? We have these people that we've, you know, I have an idea of who Kurt Russell is. I worship the man in so many different ways, and Lou Diamond Phillips, as we alluded to earlier. And if I ever met Kurt Russell, in my mind, I already have an idea of who he is. And whether that's true or not, we wouldn't know until we actually met him. But if I came to find out later that he did something horrible, it would completely, I think it would really affect me. So how does that work for you guys?
For me, I find it fairly easy to separate the art from the artist, which, I mean, I know plenty of people on Twitter would tell me is dangerous or something.
Why is it dangerous?
Because you're letting them off the hook or something, like the J.K. Rowling thing, right? Like, I wouldn't care if she was harshly anti-trans. I would still love Harry Potter. It's just,
you can separate. I don't like the person or their specific views and whatnot, but that book,
right,
those books are still fantastic to you.
Like the comic book writer Gerard Jones, he wrote a lot of absolutely excellent Green Lantern stories. Also diddled a bunch of kids.
Oh, God.
So,
wow.
You know,
Okay. All right.
That sucks. But I can still reread those Green Lantern issues and not, like, I can appreciate the story that is happening without thinking that I'm a terrible person because the person whose work I'm enjoying was a terrible person.
Well, how did you feel when you found that out, though? After you kind of really admired the guy, were you bothered by it when you first found out?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely
not the scenario. Obviously, what happened.
Right.
You're bothered by it. I'm talking about knowing that person was involved in it.
Yeah, no, I mean, of course it sucks, right? You know, somebody you look up to, or even Kevin Spacey. You know, it was an actor that I would watch movies because he was in, or watch, like, the only reason I ever watched House of Cards was because Kevin Spacey talked in it. Right. That's fair. Like, yeah, that sucks, but I can still, and I guess it's like, it sucks at the time, but I can look past it. Even Gina Carano as a recent example, you know, who doesn't love The Mandalorian, right? But I could watch the Cara Dune episodes without thinking about how she's a big anti-masker or whatever. I don't know, for me, they're an actor, they're doing a job. Also, everybody sucks deep down. Right?
Wow. That's profound.
You know what? But let's take an example. Let's say Yoko Taro, the gentleman who created Nier. If I found out he was, I guess a diddler would be the worst. I guess it would be hard to replay Nier for a while, but eventually I know I could do it. You know, like enough time passes.
But you wouldn't be able to idolize that guy. Like, he's burned in your brain forever.
Right? Yeah. Of course, I'm not gonna. I wouldn't want his autograph. Say I had his autograph, I would probably get rid of the autograph. Yeah, if that
feels
helps.
like a big one. That feels like a big move.
Yeah.
Amanda, how about you? Because I know you were apparently emotionally attached to Joss Whedon's recent situations. So how did that feel when you're idol? When you found out, not the guy, not the feminist, not the man who really did all the things people thought he did, I guess. Potentially. I mean, I don't want to. We're not a court
there's a lot of people coming out, though.
I know, but we're not a courtroom. So
no, but we are talking about our public perspective and our opinions and how that's shaped. So for me, I would say up until this point, I've been able to kind of easily dismiss people like, all right, you know, it hasn't emotionally impacted me in any way. It hasn't been difficult for me to say goodbye to any of these creators or artists or, anybody like at all. It's just been like, okay, yeah, you're a shit person, so see you later. And I don't even know for Joss Whedon, it's not necessarily him, as it's very difficult to describe. I feel so emotional about it. It's so dumb.
I don't think it's dumb. I mean, if you're a fan, you've got years tied up in his properties, and what your vision of him, this is my perspective, what your vision of him was as a feminist icon in many ways.
Buffy is a platform that helped shape me as a woman. Oh my God. So to have somebody behave in a way that is so opposite to everything that empowered me feels like I grew up with lies in a way. Like it was like a personal betrayal. I know he didn't do anything to me, but then I feel guilty too because the content that I have been obsessed with and that helped shape me for so many years caused so much pain for those people. And it just makes you so sad to think that I know that you can't expect anybody to be perfect, but you don't expect somebody to be so opposite from, he helped build an entire world for women to have a platform on. And we find out, smashed all that down. And it wasn't anything that happened recently. It was the whole time he was trying to build that, or we believed he was building that. And so that's the thing that's really, it's hurtful, and it impacts me on an emotional level.
Right. I mean, the Joss Whedon thing sucks because he was built up as this male icon for how men should help feminism. And it turns out he treated women like a dirtbag. That sucks.
That one's so complicated because, I mean, it's been so long, and we've all, anybody that was a fan of Buffy or Angel has celebrated him, or Firefly. We've watched his interviews because he was always a funny interviewer. He was always, he seemed like, to be honest, he seemed like that nerdy writer guy that made it, which was so rare for the longest time.
Like all of your friends, like all the people.
Basically, like me, really.
Like both of you in so many ways. It was too, and I'm sorry to cut you off, but to me it felt like he was twofold. He was not only that nerdy writer guy who was always so smart, and you always knew that if you could just get your opportunity, you would do so many great things. And he did. And so it was like, it gave so many, and I don't even want to just say men, but it just gave so many nerds and outcasts the opportunity to feel like they could be celebrated. And that's what his content did too. And in many ways, he also felt like not an idol just for his work, but also as like, here's what men should try to aspire to be, to help build other women, to help them rise up and have their own platform, and just not just to, stand out and be like, oh, women, but just to be like, yeah, men and women, like it's just people, and to remove that divide and just create strong characters, not just strong women. And his quote about when an interviewer asked him, why do you write these strong female characters? And he's like, because you're still asking me that question. It's something that resonated with so many people. And it was like, this is just how it should be. And so that was like where the idolization came up from, I guess. And for me, it's different than any celebrity, because it's not about you, it's about what you've done. So
what I found particularly disturbing about that one is, I was raised by a woman, by my mama, and single mother. And so a lot of what I thought his values were similar to what mine were. I thought his values were the same. And then you come to find out later on, he's not a strong supporter of making sure that, I've always been raised that there's no difference, men, women. There's everything a man can do, a woman can do, usually can do better. I firmly believe that. I was just raised by one of the strongest people in the world, and that happened to be my mother. So that's just how my brain works. So I thought, hey, that guy, I'm in line with that guy. I get that guy. And then he had all these great characters, and I'm like, I absolutely get this guy. I'm glad he's writing, smart, sharp women. Like Zoe she doesn't have to be tough.
Hell
She's
yeah.
just strong on her own. I mean, it's just like they're so well written in many respects. And I'm like, and secretly you succumb to the same crap that so many other Hollywood idiots. I mean, he didn't assault anyone or anything like that, but he created a toxic environment. And that's
that directly
disgusting.
impacted women.
Directly impacted women, yeah. And apparently made them worried to come forward. One that really hit me, you talked Whedon, it was in the writer that was important to you, Zach. Harvey Weinstein, I secretly kind of crushed me. Kevin Spacey did too, but believe it or not, I wasn't as surprised. It was just like, I don't know. There's always just something about Spacey. Never knew what it was, and kind of.
You seemed a little too good at playing the dirtbags.
Yeah, a little bit. But Weinstein, and it wasn't because Weinstein, what a stud. It wasn't anything like that. It was just, I've always loved independent film, and he was a champion of independent film, and he gave me many of the things that I love. Tarantino, Kevin Smith, back when Kevin Smith was really good. He gave me those directors, those filmmakers, Robert Rodriguez, Miramax and whatnot, provided that to me and, gave me a whole lot of entertainment that I revered and kind of almost worshiped the Weinstein name. Like if Miramax came out with something or Weinstein came out with something, I'm like, that's going to be great. And then you hear all the horror stories and the things that were happening, and it almost destroys my enjoyment of those things. Not, I can watch Kevin Spacey. I really can. I'm like you, Zach. I can separate the art from the artist. Weinstein movies are a lot harder for me. The only exception is probably Tarantino, just because they're so Tarantino. Like I don't feel like Weinstein's got a stamp on it, but I can feel it in a lot of other Weinstein movies that really have kind of turned me off on him just because of everything he did. And it was just sad.
Maybe I just haven't had an idol important enough go bad yet, right? Because your Joss Whedon or Harvey Weinstein stories, I don't think I've had if I say Jason Bateman, we found out tomorrow.
Don't say that. Don't say that. Don't jinx it.
Don't you dare.
I need more Ozark.
It would be hard to rewatch Arrested Development because of how much it's meant to me for so long. How much it shaped my sense of comedy or who I am as a person.
Oh,
I get.
Yeah, that would be crushing. And I mean, like real problems, not like I found out this actor was a certain political affiliation. I don't care about that stuff. I'm talking like real serious issues.
Right. How lucky are we that Stan Lee got to the grave without any major controversy?
Be honest though, once he died, you're like, oh, please just make it to the next couple months because this is when people come out. Don't ruin it. Don't do it.
And I'll say too, for me, there's a difference in how it affects me between viewpoints and behavior. If you have like just a weird mindset and I don't vibe with it, that's one thing. If you're doing things that impact other people negatively, then that's when it's like, okay, that's crushing, And that's where it's hard. I mean, I'm sure I'm going to get so much flack for this. Even with J.K. Rowling, like she has some fairly anti-trans, not fairly. She has some anti-trans views that, all right, man, that's your viewpoint. You can accept what you believe, and that's fine. It doesn't mean that I need to support all your new stuff, but it doesn't take away from your old stuff because it's just what you think. It's not like she was hurting a trans member while, writing these books, or like it affected, the Harry Potter series if there was a trans person or something, just as like a weird example. So to me,
it's just her words. It's not really actions. It's just her words.
Yeah. And I mean, words can be very damning and very hurtful. But to me, I think that's like, there's a line there for me. It's like, are you just expressing what your thoughts are and like how you feel about things? Because that's one thing. Or are you doing something or trying to persuade others to do something that could negatively impact other people or hurt people? And that's just like two separate issues that are both an issue to address, but it just defines how hurtful they become to me.
I understand. I mean, really, words don't usually do much for me. I mean, it's not like I don't think they matter. I'm just more of an actions guy. It's just how I'm wired. So, I just go by, well, that's where I can easily separate the art from the artist, Zach. I mean, that's right where I'm with Zach. Because, okay, she has an opinion. Okay, Gina Carano has an opinion. Okay, I mean, it really doesn't affect me. I don't put much stock in what an actor or writer thinks about political issues. I have my own opinion. I don't really care what you think. So you can do whatever you want, as long as you're not actively hurting people. And that's really where I stand with it. But there are like exceptions, like James Gunn, his old tweets that everybody said I shouldn't be worried about because they like James Gunn. But if it was anybody else, they'd want him destroyed. I always found that weird. Those those words were really uncomfortable, probably because I'm a parent or a father, or just whatever the reason. I'm just a person. I just didn't think there was nothing funny about it. And he wrote him as a 40-year-old man. And I know you shouldn't say things like that because it's weird and gross. So I don't know how he couldn't, I didn't think there was any funny thing there. So that was kind of upsetting for me as a fan, because I love James Gunn. And I was like, that really took me down a notch. Like, it makes me uncomfortable now a little bit.
I was not somebody who was like, this is the worst thing that you could say. Like,
well, but again, actions, like he didn't do anything. So I'm like, I don't want to cancel anybody. But on the same token, like that gave me, that was my idol came down a notch. Like he wasn't an idol anymore for me.
I mean, more like I understood there was like a level of like, wow, that was not funny. Sometimes kind of weird, sometimes kind of gross, like whatever. But it wasn't something that was like, it changed my perspective of him. And I know that I'm in the very, very vast minority in that. But I have known a lot of people who make really weird, uncomfortable jokes because they think it'll be funny. And it's like, nah, you're kind of a weirdo now, like that you said that out loud. And sometimes they realize it and then they change. They grow up. They're not that immature and weird. And
I mean, it was in his 40s, so.
I know, but age is not maturity, not at all. And so just for whatever reason, to me, it just did not affect me. I don't even like talking because I'm afraid I'm going to get canceled. I don't even have anything to be canceled for.
It
can happen.
James Gunn's great. Never did any wrong to me. Love the guy. Huge advocate for him when he got fired. Made some dumb jokes.
Wait, you're a huge advocate for him when he get fired, or when he got fired? I'm kind of confused. What you
I was a huge
said.
Advocate when he got fired.
Okay.
I was telling everybody you don't want to get
like
James
for him
Gunn
to get
in life.
reinstated, right?
Yeah, you don't want to get James Gunn. That was a joke on the show for some time.
Yes, he's great. I think it's cooler that he made dumb jokes 10 years ago, and he is matured that he doesn't make those same kind of jokes.
Well, is it matured, or he realized you can't say that?
That would be maturity.
Well, I hope you're right. I mean, I hope you're right.
Maturity informs you that, hey, maybe I shouldn't say this.
And like I said, it's not something I would cancel. I'm just saying it did take him down a notch for me because I found like that stuff. I've got some friends that say some inappropriate stuff, a lot of them. And that was still over that line. And our line is pretty low.
I think it might have elevated him for me.
Oh, my God.
There's something so wrong with you. And yet so right. All right. Well, I think we know who hit us all the hardest and whatnot. So do you feel like you can still enjoy their work like you always have, or does it change any aspect of how you view it?
Oh, Aaron.
Seriously. I mean,
I know. It's
when you go watch Buffy, I mean, I get that one's brand new. Do you think it's going to change anything? If you go watch Mandalorian and see Gina, is that going to change anything? I mean, or are you still going to be able to enjoy it the way, well, you won't, Amanda, but Zach.
They don't get to take those stories from me. J.K. Rowling comes out tomorrow. It turns out she curb stomped a man on the street.
Oh my God.
Her actions don't get to rob Harry Potter from my life. So yeah, I think you got to get over it. It's going to take a while to get over. But I believe in death of the author, I guess.
With Joss Whedon and Buffy and Angel and all of that, like, that will never go away for me because there's so much. It was beyond him. And that's with any work. Like, it's beyond just who the creator is. A lot of those creators aren't even involved heavily in every single episode, to be honest. But it's not going to stop me from watching those shows or supporting it or you know, that character is still something that is going to be a part of me. But what it's, at least right now, and this, like Aaron said, is still very fresh. Right now, it's like, it brings me sadness to think about what those, and not just women, but especially women, went through to provide something that shaped me. So it makes me a little sad.
Understood.
For the most part, I can separate the art from the artist. I mean, you know, like Amanda was alluding to, it takes a village. It takes a lot of people to make whatever we like in entertainment. So if
it's not just Joss Whedon. It's the writer's room. It's Anthony Head as Giles. It's Sarah Michelle Gellar's wooden acting.
Yeah.
Everybody plays a part.
Don't come for her, man. She's poor right now. She's doing autographs finally.
That's an awesome old school Amanda joke.
Yep. Doing for like $180, and you don't even get to meet them. It's like a mail-in thing. Get out of here.
Nope.
I mean, I want it, but get out of here.
I'm sorry I interrupted you, Aaron. I just really want to take a shot at Sarah Michelle Gellar before we get out of here.
And now the cops are coming for you.
Yeah,
that's good. What you get.
That's what you give for trying to milk people out of their autograph money.
Yeah, poor Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Yeah. Oh, goodness. Well, I mean, that's what ends when you marry Freddie Prinze.
I was going to say, if he's got that Star Wars money, right, he's okay.
Star Wars money?
Yeah, he voiced Kanan on Star Wars Rebels.
Yeah, I'm sure that was bringing in the checks.
Yeah. Okay.
What? Katie Sackhoff was retiring off that Clone Wars money, you know? Come on. I
think he's worth like an absurd amount of... I think he's worth like $30 million, which is way more than he should be.
Are you serious?
I'm fairly certain.
Well, then why is she selling her autographs for so high a rate?
Maybe
why is she doing it at all? It
was a whole generation ago.
Maybe if she wants fun money, she has to get it herself. He's like, I ain't paying for you. Get out of here. Got separate checking accounts for a reason, lady.
I ain't sharing that money. That's my money.
Get your Botox with your own money.
Wow.
Well, celebrities, that's what they be doing.
You got to do another Scooby-Doo movie to get some money for the family.
Written by James Gunn.
Absolutely.
Connected it all.
I bet they do it R-rated now.
I mean, adult Velma, an animated show. I'm like, you don't need to animate that. Make that real. Linda Cardellini? All right, last question, and we can get out of here. How should we decide who's worthy of a comeback?
Oh, man, that's an interesting question. I feel like Louis C.K. is going to have one in a few years. Because he's been quietly doing clubs and stuff.
Yeah, people want to act like he didn't do anything. I'm like, he was jerking off next to houseplants or something. I mean, that doesn't feel like
it's a step away from Weinstein, guys.
I don't. But then you hear from like the female comic, Sarah Silverman, who was like, yeah, it was weird, but it was just a thing he did. Sometimes it was hot. Usually it was gross.
I can't picture it.
I feel like people are. Can you imagine a guy? You go into a room. He's like, do you mind if I just jerk off in front of you real quick? I know we got a set to get to, but it's just going to take a few minutes. I promise.
It helps get me in the right mindset. If you want to help, you're more than welcome to. But otherwise,
if you want a Dutch rudder, we can work this out.
Yeah, I think all the stories were that he was like a strictly hands-off guy. But anyway, regardless,
well, apparently not completely. I mean,
his hands weren't off.
Well, touche. Regardless, I feel like he is. So I don't know what constitutes your comeback viability, though.
Well, one thing for me is what have you done to show that you're a different person? That not just because you want to come back and you regret your fame being taken away from you, or you're starting to feel a little broke, but what about that has really made you see the light and change? And that's really hard to prove. And it also matters what scale your act was on.
Yeah, your comeback viability probably has to do with how significant your current pop culture contributions are.
Wow, look at that astute observation and explanation.
You know what I'm saying? Like if Kevin Feige, you find out, was sexually harassing women.
Stop! Oh, no, don't put that into the ethers.
He's the only guy that can build a cinematic universe right.
But, I feel like people would allow that story to get quiet because God forbid the
he brought
MCU.
a Scarlet Witch. Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly right. Everyone's thinking about Scarlet Witch all the time.
I am.
If he just, well, we can't. Come on, guys. We want the next Avengers, right? I heard Magneto's going to show up in the MCU, man. We can't get rid of him now.
So the same old Hollywood problems, because they're super successful, you kind of bury it, which is what happened with Whedon and what happened with Weinstein, like what happens with all of them. They
have too much power. It's not even, it's not about their money, their currency. I feel like that is, sometimes people equate how much money they have to it. It's about their power. Are they someone that people don't want to lose in the industry? Which, I mean, yes, they have money based on who they are, but it's about what can you actually bring to us in the future? Do you have a lot of opportunity? And if so, they know that they have that, and others, it's all about perception. Like if I work under someone that I know has a ton of connections, like to everybody, and they always hear about everything. And so if I were to tell anybody about it because I felt uncomfortable, it'd get back to them. And then I'd lose all my opportunities because they have such a connection to the industry. Like that's where the power can really eat at people, and it crumbles them, not to mention the trauma. Like we haven't even talked about that, about why people are so resistant to talk about things from the get-go.
Because that's not what we're talking about. Ain't getting down that rabbit hole.
Right.
That's a different episode.
Yeah, that's a different kind of episode.
Let's think about Drake as an example, right? He was openly texting Millie Bobby Brown when they were 14, which is disgusting, grooming battlegrounds.
What was he saying? I feel like I missed a piece of
let him finish.
Just because they were close friends. That's why they were texting all the time. At a 35-year-old man and a 14-year-old girl.
Yeah,
but if he was not Drake at the time, if he was the drummer of some band, that guy, that person would be gone.
Yep. He'd be gunned. Not gone, he'd be gunned.
Oh, it's so heartbreaking. You don't want to get James gunned.
You don't. If he was R. Kelly, he'd be arrested for sure. I mean, that's just, it's not appropriate.
Man, I forgot about R. Kelly. Dude, what about Chris Brown? Another great example.
God, that guy. How is he still around? I don't even understand.
That's unreal.
I think there should be a conviction factor to some degree. I mean, if you haven't been convicted of anything or proven in some capacity, I think you should have the opportunity to come back. I think if it's just words, you should definitely get the opportunity to come back. Because to me, I mean, like I know a lot of people are screaming about Gina Carano right now. I don't think she did anything she can't come back from. I really don't. And to be fair, they gave her every opportunity to basically come back from it before she even got gunned. But they
really gave her so much time to just shut up. That's all she had to do.
Just stop posting memes and
Did
gifs.
You miss the part in the contract where we told you to not be controversial?
It's
a shame. She's so hot too.
She's a beautiful
I really
woman.
don't think so.
Well, you're wrong.
What am I missing?
I want her to step on me.
Other than her boobs. What?
I want her to step on me. And she's tough, and she's like, but she never loses her femininity. I mean, she's like, she's got a lot going on.
Yeah, big fan. Well, I can't say that anymore. I was a big fan of Gina Carano.
Be honest, are you still a fan?
No, I don't.
Or are you just saying that for the internet?
I mean, she's still hot, but she's also dumb. It was really like the amount of time she had to just not do, just to stop. I'm like, oh, you're dumb. And I'm losing a lot of respect for you here.
You could have had your own show.
Somebody in a Facebook group summed it up pretty much exactly how I feel. Just said, damn it, Gina. I mean, that's really how that says everything. That's how I feel.
Agreed.
I wanted a Cara Dune show.
She took Cara Dune away from us because she couldn't shut up.
Yeah. And I don't want to say any person should shut up or anything like that, but sometimes I can't say that stuff. I can't. I don't want to lose my job. And I just think that's common sense. Like sometimes actors, I feel like because you've been elevated because people worship you to a certain degree. I mean, it's true. It's a form of worship. You have so many fans and whatnot, and it's instantaneous. It's just like, I was in a Star Wars thing. Now I've got 500,000 fans. And you've got these people that are right there at your feet. And so you think, oh, well, I mean, I've got some power. I've got some measure of I can say whatever I want, and I should be able to say whatever I want because these people adore me. And it's just some loud minority that's yelling that I'm saying crappy things. Well, you just can't. I mean, you just can't say things that are super controversial and not expect. And I hate that freedom of speech, but not freedom of consequences. And I'm not talking that now. I'm just saying you have to be intelligent and have common sense about what you can and can't say publicly. If you want to privately say all that stuff, I think everybody's got the right to their own opinion. If you want to think horrible things, just don't say them publicly. It's your right to think them. Just don't say them. I mean, it's just common sense, man.
Yeah, you can't get arrested for thinking about murdering someone, but once you start talking about it, then it becomes a plan. Then it's premeditated. Just remember that.
Hold on, I'm writing this down.
Yeah, that's important. It's an important fact. Important fact. All right, so my story. Do you think it was truth or fiction?
Well, it felt very real to me based on my tears.
I'm going to say truth.
That story was completely true.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yep.
Was it you? Were you the guy?
I was the guy. Won't mention who the celebrity was.
Well, you
Will
will
you tell me
after,
off air?
right? Because we need to.
Yeah, I'll tell you guys off air. Sure.
Okay.
Sure. Great.
I'm like, wait a second.
But just on the off chance, I don't want to be sued or anything, so I'm not going to say who it is.
You can confirm it was not Lou Diamond Phillips.
It was definitely not Lou Diamond Phillips. LDP would never do such a thing.
And
No
Kurt
heroes.
Russell's okay, right?
I hope so.
I would not be able to get through this episode if Kurt Russell did something like that. I just couldn't.
I would hang up the mic.
I couldn't make it. I really couldn't. I mean, I would just be in tears, in a puddle, in a fetus position.
I
That's
can
really all I
relate.
would be doing. Mm-hmm. Worse than Amanda was earlier. This is like, that's nothing compared to how I would feel. I was like, you
Don't
took it
minimize
away.
my emotions, Aaron.
No, I was maximizing mine. Pay attention. It wasn't about you. All right. You already told you what the title of my story was. Never Meet Your Heroes. That was my title. And as our show goes, we will occasionally pick listener stories to read and discuss on SMIRK. If you'd like the chance to have yours read, email it to mystory@smirkpodcast.com. Usually it's a much lighter topic, but I thought that was an important conversation to have right now.
You know, I didn't even mention. I can't rewatch Aquaman because of Amber Heard. Because she got away. She gets away with it.
Screw her.
Oh,
So there's an
we
example.
all have opinions when she wasn't convicted of anything. Interesting.
That's why it upsets me. It's funny because if she had gotten in trouble the way Johnny Depp did, I would probably be able to watch Aquaman. But now I can't because I just get mad. Because A, she's a bad actress already. And now she's a bad actress that gets away with shit.
Yep. And that one's a little bit different. She didn't have conviction, but you still have audio
Yes.
evidence of what happened.
It's pretty
yeah, that's true.
unequivocal. I think, based on everything we've heard, I think they are both probably should be in trouble.
Yes.
But both,
yeah.
not just the women.
Agreed.
Come on. You can't be cutting
I agree.
slack.
But it will not make me not watch Aquaman again
I
because
will-
Jason Momoa and that hair.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
like,
he is so
damn.
beautiful.
Every time he says permission to come aboard, I'm like,
I
yes,
say
sir.
yes.
I question my own sexuality. I really do. I'm like, I'm not convinced I'm straight. I'm just not.
I used to know, but now I don't.
You know what? He's on a boat. I was in the Navy. I was a sailor. I'm thinking about it. I think this all connects.
I'll go sailing.
All right. And if you like SMIRK, whatever our show is called, please share the show on your social media outlets. We really do appreciate it. Join the conversation by joining our Facebook group. Follow us on Twitter @SMIRK Podcast. Just use the show's hashtag SMIRK when you share it and tag GoCastZach and Lou Diamond Phillips.
Yeah. That's my birthday present from the audience to me.
Appreciate it. And as you write your own life story, always remember to tell it with a smirk. Dun, dun, dun. Do you need to know who this person is? Do you want to know?
Yeah, hell
Should I
yeah.
turn off my recorder for this?
No. You keep recording. I'll bleep it out. The listeners will never get to hear
Oh man,
that
that's
it was,
so teasing.
in fact,
Dude, that's so funny that I said it sounded like at the top.
yeah, because you kind of remembered that story, right?
I really didn't.
I don't remember this story, but you told us this story before.
Yeah, I told Zach that because he was on.
Oh,
Podcast.
right.
I was distinctly thinking of that weird video where he's super wasted, where he's like, and the interviewer's like, wait, what?
Yeah,
Knocked it over.
yeah.
It's so weird.